After the surprising event at the end of Volume 12.5, the third-year arc will definitely started with how the school will react on Ayanokoji transfer, especially for students from Horikita class. Most of them will just confused and calling him dumb because he throw away the privilege of Class AA, while Koenji will look at himself in the mirror and mumbling to himself.
I knew it.
However, students who still has a brain will realize how serious this problem is. Students like Horikita and Hirata might confront him directly, and I'm curious what kind of answer he will give them. Either he lied, honest, or simply just refused to answer. The fact that he already changed class cannot be undone. Ayanokoji already leave Horikita class, and from now, they will become enemy. We also gonna see reaction from the other classes. And then, what will happen in the first volume of the third-year arc? Special exam will be a great way to start a new arc. They could make a special exam involving the new student, or just focused on the third-year classes. With Ayanokoji is now the enemy of Horikita class, he need to establish his position as the villain, and also proving himself to his new classmates. Just like Hosen knife scene, the third-year arc will need a memorable event as the stepping stone for the final year, and the best way to create attention and establish Ayanokoji as the real threat is by expelling someone. Expulsion will become more common in the third-year arc, and the impact will be maximum if the expelled one is someone we know quite well, and not just a random student like Mizono. Horikita and Koenji will be safe because they have Protect Point, but students like Ika and even Hirata need to be worried. Expulsion will be cool, but it will definitely hard to achieve because Ayanokoji need to adapt with his new classmates. Even though they are former Class A, there is no one who truly stood out in Ayanokoji class. So far there are only 5 characters with official illustration. Hashimoto, Hito, Yamamura, Sanada, and Morishita. They are all academically gifted, but no one really specializes in a certain area. In the beginning of the series, Class A was divided into two factions, Katsuragi faction and Sakayanagi faction. Katsuragi with his right-hand man Tatsuka always tried to seize authority against Sakayanagi and her right leg Kamuro. Surprisingly, the 4 of them is no longer in class at the end of second-year arc, leaving the rest of their classmates lost a leader figure and cannot do anything on their own. According to Sakayanagi in Volume 6 second-year arc, she intentionally built her class so they will crumble without a leader, which proven with Class A defeat in the sport festival. Class A was built for Sakayanagi to lead, so Ayanokoji as the new leader will have a hard time in his class, especially because Ayanokoji never actually acted like a leader before. Looking at Ayanokoji's record, he could become an effective ruler, but not an actual leader. He could control and manipulate his class like what Ryuin did, but he will never become someone like Ichinose. This is interesting because it could lead to some unexpected betrayal, especially if Ayanokoji mercilessly expels someone from his class who he deemed worthless. Sakayanagi was merciless, but still had a heart. She didn't expel anyone in unanimous vote exam, while Ayanokoji will expel someone as long as he could gain class point to catch up with Class A. Maybe his classmates will just shut up and make up with it, especially because they only have a year left and they really need to win, but the betrayal will be interesting to spice things up in the future. And now let's take a look at Ayanokoji alive. So far he only has Hashimoto, Yamamura, and Morishita who truly support him. The rest of the class supports him enough to pay for his transfer, but none of them looks really useful except for their good score on the exam. Back in Horikita class, Ayanokoji had Horikita for leadership, Kushida for social skills, Yukimura for academics, and Sudo for sports. But in his new class, all those aspects are centralized in academics. Hashimoto had good social skills, but after his relationship with Mizono got exposed, he will no longer be trusted by the Horikita class, and there is a chance the news will spread to the other classes. He also lost his credibility in his class after the betrayal, so his value will only be good for making a relationship with junior students. Yamamura will be useful to gather information, Kito can be trusted for physical activity, and Morishita could grow her shrimp factory. And that's all. We need to be introduced to more members of the Ayanokoji class, or Ayanokoji will become a one-man army who handles everything by himself. Actually, that doesn't sound so bad. In his afterword at Volume 12.5, Kinugasa stated that the third-year arc will be focused on the class battle between Ayanokoji and his grade, just like the first-year arc. However, that doesn't mean there will be no new students who will take an important part in the story. The third-year arc will resolve among Atsuomi and President Koenji, who bet on whose kids will graduate as Class A. For President Koenji, it is just a test for his son, but for Atsuomi, it's a serious bet that could change his entire life. He really needs to win, and we know that Atsuomi will do everything he can to achieve his goal. Atsuomi still has Ishigami in ANHS for unknown reasons, but I doubt Ishigami has the ability to match Ayanokoji or Koenji, at least not if he is alone. That's why I'm pretty sure we will get another White Room student in the third-year arc. The 6th generation White Room students were raised using level 5 curriculum, so they should be able to offer a better fight than Yagami. However, their purpose is not to fight Koenji or expel Ayanokoji, but to support Ayanokoji so he could win against Koenji. I'm 100% sure Ayanokoji will not be happy with their interference, so they will need to operate undercover, or Ayanokoji will take action and expel them from school. And let's not forget about Kijima. If Ayanokoji manages to win and Atsuomi could win over President Koenji, that will become a very huge blow to Kijima and his political party. It's been stated in Volume 0 that Kijima had built an institute similar to the White Room, and there is a chance Koenji also came from that place, so there is no reason for Kijima to not send someone to support Koenji. That will be interesting to see Ayanokoji fighting Koenji while their junior fights on their own. It could develop into a four-way battle, or maybe take an unexpected turn that leads to their cooperation to fight their parents. For a note, there is a theory going around that Ichinose little sister will come to school next year, because Ichinose specifically mentions that her sister is 2 years younger than her. However, other than fan service, I cannot see anything interesting with her enrollment. I just hope she will not become another Ichinose and join the Ayanokoji harem group. Now that Ayanokoji goal has become clear, it's become easier to guess how the third-year arc battle will go. With Ichinose and Ayanokoji class falling behind the other two classes, Ayanokoji's first goal will be to close the gap between the 4 classes and try to maintain the balance as long as he can. The first few volumes will be Ayanokoji cooperating with Ichinose to attack Horikita class. With more than 500 gap in class points, they are going to need a few special exams to rejoin the race. If we follow the pattern from the previous 2 years, the island exam will become the turning point that will decide if Ayanokoji and Ichinose class could really catch up with the other 2 classes or not. I don't think Koenji will take immediate action following his father's order. He will most likely wait and see to make sure what he actually needs to do. When he realizes that Horikita and the others are not enough to stop Ayanokoji, that will be the time Koenji takes the front stage, and it will most likely happen after the island exam. And then, we will finally get the long-awaited battle between Ayanokoji and Koenji at the sports festival. Because we know almost nothing about Koenji, anything could happen in their fight which makes it hard to predict. However, one thing is for sure, their battle will be worth waiting for.